So, if you guys remember, I said that I was going to donate to a gambling addiction charity of some sort, and I was going to take the profits from my quitting video and put it towards a charity. Now, that video did about 750 in revenue, and the CPM on it was like abnormally, weirdly low. I don't even know why it was so low for the amount of views that it got. So I ended up upping it, and I donated $1,000. Now, I was looking at the different charities, and I got a couple of recommendations, but no one really recommended anything that was like that seemed very top tier from the comments that I saw. And so I ended up donating to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. I've worked with them before. They save children's lives. They provide treatment for the children. They are at no cost to the family. And I think it's a really good, safe charity to put the money towards. And so that's what I ended up doing with the money. I donated $1,000. My order number is there if you wanted to like email them and ask them if I actually did it or something like that. But I wanted to let you know that you people that watched the video and generated that ad revenue, you were a part in donating to hopefully save a child's life down the road. Thank you so much, and let's get into the content. So I have played through Genshin Impact 3 times pretty well fully, doing all the quests and everything. This is my Free Willy account. We did it on Free-to-Play God, and my main account, MTash. And I learned a lot along the way. But I'm about to change your life. I'm about to change your Genshin Impact life. Now, I've made videos, and I've made guides, and a lot of people have talked about maining and leveling up a couple of DPS characters. These are my main DPS, and all my other characters are like level 40, maybe level 50, but I don't have a lot of characters leveled up. Most characters in the game are low level, and I'm focusing all my resources into these 2 main characters. But the entire time that I was leveling up this account, and pretty much the entire time I was leveling up Free-to-Play God, people kept saying, how are you one-hitting everything? How are you one-banging like every enemy you fight? My Beto could one-bang everything. And then we got a D-Luke and he could one-bang everything. And then I made a whole nother account and my Razor was one-banging everything. And people keep asking me, how the hell are you doing it? And it's actually really simple. Now, you're going to notice that I've got quite a bit of attack here. And that's because my artifacts are pretty decent. But they're pretty decent because of one thing that I changed. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. But I'm going to show you Xiangling's artifacts first, because these were the artifacts that I was using. I had a Berserker's Feather with 2 defense stats and HP. I had a little bit of crit damage, but this was my one thing. And this one has some attack and some more attack here, but it's got defense, and it even leveled up a couple times. And this had crit damage on it, but it has some attack and HP and defense. These are not great artifacts, because early on in the first few world tiers, most of your damage comes from your level and your weapon, but the big pooba is your talents. And we know this. I understand. I don't want to harp on this stuff because I think a lot of you understand this already. But here is what I discovered. Is by leveling up my weapon and maxing it out, and leveling up my talents and maxing them out, and leveling up, as high as I could for the world tier, I could one-hit pretty much everything with my Razor. And even though my artifacts at the time were pretty trash, I was still able to do it. And this made me realize, well, what if I just did that with every character? And it started to make me think, holy cow, I think this is the meta. So here's what I want you to do. Is I leveled up my Razor and I maxed out my Razor. But then, when I got Xiangling, I maxed her out and leveled her up. And in order to do this, right, you need to fight bosses. You need to fight quite a few bosses. And this leads to a lot of artifacts. You get Berserker sets, Gladiator sets, Exile sets. And because of this, this led to some incredibly good artifacts, just naturally. You get a lot of artifacts from farming up and leveling up a character. And so here is my recommendation, is I want you to start with 2 or 1 main character, and then you're going to add in a second main DPS characters, and these are the characters you're going to max out first. You're going to get their weapon, you're going to max out their talents, and they're going to carry you in the Spiral Abyss. You're going to get a bunch of Primo Gems, maybe you can wish for a couple more characters, but do 2 main characters first. And then what I want you to do is I want you to pick 2 main support characters. In my case, I've decided on Fischl. And what I want you to do, I want you to level them up, but I want you to max out their weapon. I've got a level 70 Favonius Warbow. I'm maxing out her weapon. And then I'm going to max out her levels, and I'm going to start maxing out her talents. But her artifacts, they're like unleveled trash. She's got 1 feather that's leveled up, and it's not great. But the damage that she's going to bring with just this weapon is enough to push further into the Spiral Abyss. And I want you to get 2 main support characters. So I'm working on Sucrose as well. She's getting her weapon, and I'm going to be leveling her up, and I'm going to be leveling up her talents, and I want you to get 2 support characters. And this is going to give you so much guaranteed damage, it's not even funny. Because I have learned something playing through the game multiple times. Artifacts are trash. They are so hard to get. They are so hard to find. Even if you spend thousands of resin, you're not going to get God rolled artifacts. Now at AR45, on my other account, my main account, I've farmed for artifacts. And I do have gold artifacts. But I want to show you something. Now, I've spent thousands upon thousands of resin trying to get upgrades for my characters. And more often than not, I'm disappointed and I get defense to roll like 3 times. A lot of artifacts that I've found are not great, and they don't have good substats, or even their main stat is not what I need. And I've spent thousands and thousands trying to get these items. I've tried to get set pieces, and more often than not, they're disappointing. And what I'm finding is, unfortunately, if you just focus on 2 characters, maybe you've got D-Luke and Kaching, or D-Luke and some Klee, if you farm artifacts for them and you try to max these characters out, all your other characters are going to suck. But the beauty is, if you level up all these characters and you bring them up to level 80 and you upgrade their weapon, more often than not, you are going to get some artifacts from doing the bosses and the weekly bosses that are going to be good. This is an amazing little electro damage cup, or whatever you want to call that. And this is carrying my Kaching, and it gives her a lot of her damage. And my feather, while it isn't perfect, it's got energy recharge, some attack percentage. These are not from farming domains. It's just from leveling up my characters. And that's the beauty, is you're getting guaranteed stats by ascending and leveling your characters, and it typically is going to lead to some decent items that will carry your team for now. You can min-max, absolutely. You can spend thousands of resin, and you can get that absolutely god-rolled item. You're going to get that, you're going to get that feather with attack, and you've got elemental mastery and all these different things. For sure, it's going to happen. But I would rather have my main DPSs leveled, talents done, finished off, and then my supports leveled up and talents done, than spending all of my resin trying to get these artifacts. Because my god, is it punishing. If I've spent 5,000 resin and I still don't even have any good artifacts, there's got to be a problem here. I have a set piece that I've squeaked out here, but it's relatively trash. It is relatively trash, and I haven't even like leveled up fully because a lot of these artifacts are just awful. And what you might end up doing is you're going to spend day after day, if not week after week, trying to get the perfect set for Venti, and you're still going to have a level 20 Barbara, and you're still going to have a level 20 Klee or other side character, and you're going to be like, shit, I haven't even made any progress here. And if you're looking at the Spiral Abyss, right? The Spiral Abyss resets every 2 weeks. And I'm able to push in, and I'm able to beat it with the characters I have. You know, this is a whale account. But getting some guaranteed Primo Gems from this, because you've got a leveled up, guaranteed strong team, I think is way better than beating it a minute faster because you've got better artifacts. And in many cases, a lot of the Spiral Abyss you can beat because you've got multiple characters with multiple elements to deal with shields. And if you're leveling up all these characters and you're getting these gladiator sets, you're getting these exile sets, that's going to lead to success long term, in my opinion. Most artifacts you get are going to be trash. And maybe you can make some set pieces work, and you can get some bonuses, and that's awesome. And maybe you get lucky on the substats. But if you're just upgrading these things, and you're putting your best stuff on a couple main DPS characters, they're going to be able to carry you through most of the content in the game. But you're going to need more. You're going to need a host of different characters and different elements. And by leveling them up, you are going to get lucky. And you are going to find that Exile set. Or that Berserker set. Or you're going to find a glorious cup with animo damage that you desperately need for your main character. But I think that getting the guaranteed stuff is going to lead to better teams. And it's a direct path to improvement. It's a direct path to say, all right, I've got a main character, they're cracked. I've got a second character now, that's cracked. I've got a support, and then a second support, and now I've got a healer. And I think that this process, for me, is the way I'm going to be continuing to build my characters long term. I know that at any time I could get some cracked gladiator's feather that's amazing, or I could keep getting trash like this even after hundreds of resins spent. I would rather have, my Fischl with a maxed out weapon and guarantee that she's getting 350 attack almost, as well as a huge chunk of energy recharge, than trying to roll the dice and be like, come on, baby, hit that stat. It's like playing a slot machine. There's a very good chance I'm going to get HP and defense on this thing. In fact, let's just go like this. What are the chances? Let's add them in. What are the chances? Okay, we're looking good so far. We're getting some experience. Maybe right here. Okay, maybe this is the one. Maybe I can hit that and we're going to get a big upgrade. Ah! It's trash. I mean, it's not trash, but why? Why would I put myself through this mental anguish when I could go and farm some talent books, I could farm some ascension materials, and make her stronger, guaranteed? It's the way I view it. Artifacts are the last priority for me moving forward. I'm working on my Fischl. I'm going to start going on Sucrose here in a little bit. We're going to get leveling Xingqiu, and then we're going to start leveling Bennett so that he can provide some cracked damage with his base stats. But until these characters are pretty much maxed up and caught up to this point, I don't care whatsoever about what artifacts I get. That's just me, though. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.